Hello everyone, now I will be changing my YouTube channel name to the Holiday Christmas Fan, and that will be my official YouTube name, and it will not be changed for a long time. But there's more It Chapter 2 news. It Chapter 1 returning to theaters with sneak peek at sequel. Now this is awesome. Wait until you hear what they're doing. It Chapter 1 is supposed to be returning in theaters somewhere in August, and you get a pretty decent long time, a good look at the sequel. Now I don't get why they're doing this. This is kind of a bad idea in my opinion, because I'm not wasting my money to go see the movie again in theaters. You want to relive the horrors of It Chapter 1 on the big screen ahead of this September's concluding sequel, It Chapter 2. It Chapter 2. You'll get your chance in August. Fandango announced today that the spooky Stephen King adaptation It Chapter 1 is returning to theaters for 2 nights in August, Saturday, August 3rd, and Tuesday, August 6th. Not only that, but each screening will end with an extended 8-minute preview of It Chapter 2. Now this is actually exciting. I guess a preview is not too bad, but we'll see. I don't really know what they're gonna show in it, but I'm gonna be avoiding news in August because I do not want to know what they're showing, and it's probably gonna be something pretty awesome. So I'm hoping they don't show anything too insane, because I guess if you haven't seen It Chapter 1 yet, you should go see the movie. If you have seen It Chapter 1 already, don't waste your money to go to the theaters again. The people that haven't seen It Chapter 1, Saturday, August 3rd, and Tuesday, August 6th, those are the days you want to go to your theater, because It Chapter 1's going to be in there. And at the end of the movie, they're going to do an 8-minute preview of It Chapter 2. So whoever hasn't seen It Chapter 1, go see the movie and wait and once the movie's over, wait. The 2-part adaptation of the iconic Stephen King horror novel has been in the works for years, and in fact the screening for It Chapter 1 is created to the film's writer, but when Fukunaga left over creative differences, filmmaker Andy Muschietti took over and helped turn It Chapter 1 into a bona fide feminine, continuing on with Fukunaga's plan of dividing the adaptation into 2 films, one set the 80s when the heroes are kids, and the sequel set in present day 27 years later. It Chapter 1 is a haunting, terrifying, and undeniable compelling look at the Losers Club's first encounter with Pennywise. The R-rated horror film was... Okay, now, this is cool. So Cary Fukunaga was supposed to be the original director, and the take he was going to do on it, the 2 films, I was not happy to hear what Cary Fukunaga wanted to do with it. What Cary Fukunaga wanted to do was not a very good idea. He wanted to explore into like a universe where the Losers Club have to go into Pennywise's world on a new planet and blah blah blah, and I thought that was just stupid. It wouldn't even work. How would that even work? Like going onto a planet with Pennywise into his world, like, I think that would just be stupid. And I'm glad that did not happen. Stephen King, horror novel. Oh wait, I already read this. Okay. I'm stupid. Just kidding. LOL. But this is awesome. Wait until you hear the second part of this. There's more news. It's not just about the It Chapter 1, Bill Skarsgård said something. The child actors of It Chapter 1 return in flashback capacity in It Chapter 2, which recast the characters as adults with an A-list assembled that includes Jessica Chastain, James McAvoy, and Bill Hader. Since King wrote it as one story, it's nice to see fans given chance to resist It Chapter 1 on the big screen ahead of the concluding chapter in September. Although I have to say, I'm also hoping Muschietti puts together one super long cut of it that blends Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 into a single film. Here's hoping that. Okay, now the cast that we got for the adults is just awesome. Like, we're not going to get much better than Jessica Chastain, James McAvoy, and Bill Hader. These three characters, including the Mike Hanlon character, the Old Spice guy playing as the character, those are going to be the four main characters in the movie, I'm going to say. I'm not saying the other characters that are playing the adult versions of the Losers Club characters aren't important, because they are important. Without them as well, you can't tell the story properly, so it's good that, see, people are getting worried that, like, oh, Andy Muschietti is trying to frickin' redo the characters and make them almost the same. Here's the thing. It makes sense that Andy Muschietti is doing this. You either want a good cast that has the same kind of vibe to the kids, or you don't. Now, they're not going to be exactly the same as the kids, because they're adults, they matured, they're different now, but they also have that kid personality still, not completely, but producer Barbara Muschietti previously confirmed that there will be a director's cut of It Chapter 2 featuring some amazing scenes that didn't make it into the movie, which originally clocked in at 4 hours, so there is still plenty of material yet to come. It Chapter 2 hits theaters on September 6th, but until then, feel free to check out these three. Now this is cool. So there is some deleted scenes that didn't make it into the movie, and the director, Andy Muschietti's wife, Barbara Muschietti, which is a producer, these amazing scenes, I wonder what they're going to be. Now, the best part of this video is going to be what Bill Skarsgård says, and let me tell you, Bill Skarsgård, wait until you hear what he has to say. The extended preview attached to this limited time re-release comes to just over a month before the sequel debuts in theaters, though curious cinema goers might be enticed towards this refresher simply to catch a glimpse of It Chapter 2. 8 minutes of footage might sound like a sizable chunk, however, it was recently announced that the theater runtime for the forthcoming flick would be 2 hours and 45 minutes, so the filmmakers can no doubt afford to share this extended look at the sequel. Holy. Now, to me, this is a good idea and a bad idea at the same time. I don't agree with putting movies that came out 2 years later or a year later and then having at the end of the movie a look at the next sequel. To me, that's not a good idea, because It Chapter 2 is one of these movies that you don't want to go in and see too much good stuff. You don't want to see a whole lot of good parts of the movie. And now, if it's gonna be like if it's gonna be like the It teaser trailer and the It Chapter 2 teaser trailer and the It Chapter 2 final trailer, then that's fine. Now, this is good. It Chapter 2 star Bill Skarsgård, Pennywise has changed due to feeling fear. Now, this is not bad news at all. This is good news. What Bill Skarsgård explains in this, how his character has changed over 27 years, the way he explains how the character has changed Pennywise, is pretty awesome. Just what I think is pretty awesome, and what you're about to hear, what he has to say and what he explains is just incredible. And I think a lot of you guys are going to like what he has to say, because he does explain something. Bill Skargard says, Pennywise has changed. The first movie ended with Pennywise for the first time feeling fear himself. He adds, he is an entity that inflicts fear on people and he feeds off of it. He's obsessed with it, but now he's feeling it and realizing, oh, this is what I've been doing for so long. That changed him. Now, this is where it gets interesting after this part, because the last part of the sentence, Bill Skarsgård is talking about its final form and what to expect. Now, this is good, and this is how I know we're not just getting, it's not going to be a giant spider. And I told you guys I was right. Wait until you hear what he has to say, because I think that's what he's talking about. Not this part, but the last part of the video. I made that part the longest because that's the most interesting part. On the clown's actions in the sequel, the actor says, I think it's interesting, maybe he's craving to get back to that feeling, to feel alive again the way the kids made him feel. It might be subconscious, and there's been a more conscious approach to it, which is okay. They almost got me the first time. This time, I'm going to get them back, and I'm going to get them back hard. This is awesome. This tells me that we are getting a much more aggressive Pennywise. We're getting a much more scary Pennywise. So is Pennywise, see, Bill Skarsgård might actually shock us in a way so much after It Chapter 2, we might be saying to ourselves, is Tim Curry really the best Pennywise in the world? Like, is he really the best Pennywise? Like, I think Bill Skarsgård is better than Tim Curry. Now, this is the best part. With Pennywise hell-bent on revenge in the sequel, it's clear that not all of the Losers Club are getting out alive, and it's quite an inventive form of vengeance that he takes. Well, if you know Pennywise, you know it will be a twisted, dark way of doing it, says Skargard. Now, what the hell does this mean? Excuse my language, but what does this mean? Not all the Losers Club are getting out alive, and it's quite an inventive form of vengeance that he takes. Well, if you know Pennywise, you know it will be a twisted, dark way of doing it, says Skargard. I don't really know what this means, but I'm seeing it. I think Skarsgård is kind of giving us a hint what to expect from its final form in this movie. And if it's going to be a twisted, dark way of doing it, it can't be a giant spider. I mean, it can't be. If it's a twisted, dark way on doing something, the final confrontation, then it can't be a giant spider. It has to be something more insane than that. And I feel like we're in for something very incredible and super awesome. Like, there's just something about this part of the message that Bill Skarsgård's explaining that is so exciting. Super exciting. And I think a lot of you guys can understand and agree with me that Bill Skarsgård might... I know there's a lot of people that are a fan of Tim Curry's Pennywise, but maybe Bill Skarsgård will beat... I can see him beating Tim Curry in Chapter 2, because if he's going all in with it and doing whatever he can... Now, what I want to see from Chapter 2, and I think we're going to get it, I want to see Pennywise talk more, because in Chapter 1 we did not get to see Pennywise talk that much, like maybe twice, and I want to see Pennywise just talk more. Like 3 times we got to see him talk, and I don't think that was enough. We gotta get him, we gotta see like him talking more, because Chapter 2 is one of them movies where Pennywise is feeling guilty and he wants to kill these guys and make sure they die. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pennywise does talk a lot more in Chapter 2. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think on the brand new news for It Chapter 2. Are you guys ready for this damn movie? Because I am for sure. I'll see you guys in another horrifying video.